horror fans, and welcome back to another episode of Silver Screams Reacts. On a couple days ago, the trailer for the next Halloween movie came out.
The fact that you have to say it with Halloween, like it needs the jazz fingers. I love it.
I just like the jazz fingers.
Love it.
I just like the jazz fingers.
The jazz fingers are a requisite.
Now, the Halloween franchise is one in which the continuity, the canonicity, all over the place. This latest movie is basically scrapping everything after Halloween 2 and just going like, okay, cool, boom, this is what we're doing. It's got Jamie Lee Curtis in it again. John Carpenter's involved. He's doing the music for it as well.
So I was going to say, scrapping that means that Jamie Lee Curtis is alive, yeah?
Yes.
Good.
The sad thing is that it is scrapping Halloween H2O, which I find a little bit of a bummer because I really liked Halloween H2O, and I think it had the best ending that the franchise could have had, and then it wasn't.
Then they just kept going and going and going.
Then they just kept going. So it makes me wonder if, and this is also after a reboot, because we had the Rob Zombie movies, and so this is interesting, to say the least. It's very, very rare.
It's like the Sonic franchise. We're trying real hard to find our footage here. Footing.
It's very rare to see a franchise get rebooted and then come back around. So
I again point you to Sonic the Hedgehog. We're going back to the classic stuff because everyone liked it. How about Sonic 3?
Yeah, that does sort of seem to be the mentality here of like, oh, like you didn't, we're rebooting it with Rob Zombie, you'll like it now, right? And then the zombie movies didn't pan out very well, matter of opinion. But then they're like, oh, you didn't like the zombie movies, here, Jamie Lee Curtis is back, and it's like the 40th anniversary, I think. Oh. These movies are very old.
See, and the reboot and the wind it back and the do the whatever. Nostalgia goggles are a wonderful and terrible thing because you remember the experience you had the first time. You played that first Sonic game, watched that first Halloween movie, whatever, and as you get older, your experiences and your viewpoints change, and so you sit down and you experience something new.
Why doesn't it feel the same?
Why doesn't it feel the same? Oh, it must be because it's not like it's changed, and that's the problem.
No.
Not me.
It's the children who are wrong.
It's the children who are wrong. And that's not to say that there aren't bad Halloween movies, and that's not to say that there aren't bad Sonic games, because there absolutely are in both categories. But that doesn't mean that everything outside of your nostalgia is terrible. It just means that it's different because it has to grow and evolve for a new audience. And you're different because you can't just wipe decades.
Hopefully you've grown and changed as well.
You have, whether you like it or not. Whether you're trying to reclaim that old time or getting on with your damn life is a different story entirely.
Now, I will say personally, one of the things I'm a little apprehensive about in terms of like, I don't want to get myself overly excited, is a creator coming back to its franchise is not necessarily a recipe for a good movie. Prometheus, I'm looking in your direction.
Okay, but James Cameron wants to make long, thoughtful sci-fi stories.
That's not James Cameron, sweetie. Ridley Scott. It's been a long day.
Holy shit. You knew who I was talking about, though. Wow. He wants
James
to make...
Cameron did Aliens, which was great. Ridley Scott did the original, which is also great, but for different reasons.
He wants to make long, thoughtful sci-fi screeds, and studios want him to make alien movies, so it's just my alien is pasted on yay. Which doesn't help anybody.
So, and also, I'll use another example, Clive Barker, coming back to the Pinhead universe in the form of novels. Doesn't necessarily, looking at the Scarlet Gospel, it's clear he wanted to do a supernatural detective story, and that the best way to market it is inserting Pinhead, even though those two things don't necessarily, like a lighthearted supernatural detective story, and inserting Pinhead isn't necessarily the best way to do that. Maybe I'm wrong, but that was at least the impression I got from reading the book.
So it seems like the trend of creators coming back to their franchises is a lot of, I want to do things, I want to do new things, but I have to put on a thin veneer of the old thing in order for studios to fund it.
Yeah, or
that's a problem.
or the studio approaching the creator or original director or original screenwriter or whatever, original producer, insert title here,
Original thing.
and going, our franchise needs a little something to lend it some more credibility. Come on back, here's some money. With your name attached to it, fans will believe it's going to be good.
You will believe a movie can be good.
So I'm trying not to get too excited about what we're about to watch. That being said, it's also hard not to be.
Well, let's do it then.
All right, and click.
I've waited for him.
Attention spans.
Testing 1, 2, 3. We're on.
We're here to investigate a patient that killed 3 innocent teenagers on Halloween in 1978. He was shot by his own psychiatrist and taken into custody that night, and spent the last 40 years in captivity. Hello, Michael.
Oh, are we scrapping Halloween 2 as well?
I have something you might like to see.
I don't know. What kind of a mental facility is this? Just
What
leave
the
him
fuck was
alone.
that?
Just
Oh, it's Blumhouse.
Case this time of year. I mean, your grandmother is Laurie Strode. She was almost murdered.
Wasn't it her brother who murdered all those?
okay. No, we are keeping 2.
It
Good.
was not her brother. That's something that people made up.
Maybe not.
I pray every night that he would escape.
What the hell did you do that for?
So I can kill him.
Don't you know you can't kill a sister in a monster movie?
The bus crashed.
Mom, what bus crash?
Michael escaped.
You were praying for
Who
this.
tried to transport him? That's a terrible idea.
On a
You think
bus?
somebody's in here?
Oh, sweetie. Oh, snap! I do love how weathered it
Waited
looks.
for this night. He's waited for me. I've waited for him. Get out the road! Get inside!
Oh!
You don't believe in the boogeyman?
Nice.
He's here! Michael! You should.
Can you close the closet door?
Oh, that was awesome.
That poor kid.
That was good. That was a good.
Sure, the look on my face there was great.
That's one of the only times I've actually ever seen you visibly react fearfully to a trailer. Because most of the time we look at trailers and we're like, well, that's garbage.
It's like, well, this is the thing. Well, that's going to be interesting. Woo! Knew it was going to be something. Was expecting a dead body. Was not expecting that. Should have been expecting that. Was not expecting that. Why do they always do the fucking bus thing?
That's what I'm wondering. I'm like, don't poke him. Don't poke the dragon.
Why were they transporting? And if they were transporting all of these people who are violent, let's go with violent, unstable, and violent. Because that's like, mental illness doesn't make you violent. But if
No.
you're already violent, mental illness doesn't help. That's very blanket, but I don't want to do a cause and effect thing because
No, of
that's
course
some
not.
bullshit. But he's very
Well,
violent,
and
they took all these people who presumably may also be violent or are at the very least unstable, threw them all in a bus together and transported them, and the bus crashed because we're fucking stupid. Like, you can't do individual armed transports? Like, guys, you don't want these people
Let's
to
be
get
real.
out.
It crashed because Michael broke out of his restraints and killed the driver. That's how this works. That's how this happens.
Yeah, but again, you could do individual transports with armed people in there so that when Michael inevitably breaks out, as he does, at least it's not an entire bus full of presumably violent people released back into the population of this small town.
They no longer have the benefit of all of the other movies indicating how much of a bad idea that is.
It's just a bad idea anyway.
Yeah.
Let's be completely real. Putting a bunch of violent people together in one place and transporting them like nothing is gonna go wrong is a problem.
In their defense, they don't know they're in a horror movie.
Yeah. And I'm talking like tropes and horror movie violent.
Yeah.
Like,
No. Of course, not like, we're not talking about any real
no, this is
issues.
hilariously divorced from real life.
I don't know how I feel about them erasing. And granted, that might just be a thing that this person was saying in the trailers because Laurie doesn't want it out that they are brother and sister. I don't like the idea of that being scrubbed. I don't like the idea of Halloween 2 being erased from the canon. If this is just
I'd like to think that she was just going, no, we're not related. No.
And this is the bad thing about like when you do reboot a franchise, and my defense of making new choices is like it doesn't erase the thing that you actually like, especially in a franchise like Halloween where there are so many different iterations going in so many different directions. You can sort of pick and choose what you like. And what you want to keep, I guess, in your own internal canon.
Yeah.
In your own head canon. And so this isn't going to take that away from me necessarily, but because, and also like the franchise will continue after this, I'm sure, in various iterations, because that's what franchises do. They outlive people. So I don't know how I feel personally, just in terms of my own headcanon, about them scrubbing that away. That being said, this just in and of itself, there are a couple questionable things, like I don't get the mental facility keeping people chained up on a roof.
Now that's just some full-on horror
that seems
movie bullshit.
Negligent at best.
That is a just suspend the brain at the door. Who cares?
I don't
It's
know.
one of those.
I don't know how I feel about this guy who thinks he's Dr. Loomis. You're not. So I don't know how I feel about that. But man, when it actually comes to like the Haddonfield stuff and Laurie and her attitude about Michael and about Halloween, I like that all feels right to me. That all feels good. And gosh
And just
darn
the
it,
shot of shooting and it being the mirror.
that was so good.
And I mean, we knew it was a mirror just from how we were able to see it, but from where she's standing, she couldn't have known.
No.
But knowing that she is that good of a shot, that it established that is, I like that.
And this is a man, in terms of the thing that's staying the same, you know, this is a man who fell from a 2-story height, was repeatedly shot and repeatedly stabbed, and was still able to walk away. Even if she does get a good headshot, and there's no guarantee, we shall see.
People have survived headshots before.
Absolutely.
Like, this is not unheard of.
I love how weathered the mask looks. And maybe that's why they're scrubbing too, is because the mask burned away in the fire at the end of 2. So maybe that's why they're scrubbing it away. I love how weathered the mask looks. I loved that last jump scare. Like, that was,
my God.
and that was a jump scare where it didn't have the like music to it.
No,
Like,
it was
it's
just like
purely visual. So all in all, this looks like it's going to be a solid movie, regardless of how it's related to the rest of the canon.
Yeah.
So
It looks like there's a whole lot of give a damn that went into this.
yeah.
So that's good.
And give a damn is what a lot of long-running horror franchises desperately need right now. Because so much of it is just, let's keep the license, let's just put something out. You know, there's so little... there's been so much of like, we gotta make it darker and grittier, because that's what audiences are craving.
And that means violence and gore, like...
No, we want you to care. And then we will in turn care. It's fun that way.
That's why the Saw movies actually have a plot.
A very convoluted, silly, messy plot.
Yeah. But nonetheless, it's like, we're trying to make you care, and the first few did a really good job at that, and the last few did their best.
Question mark?
Made attempts.
At least you
Built
Gold
off-
Star tried.
Built off of some full-on Escher-style scaffolding.
Neither here nor there. But yeah, when you
Yeah.
put effort into your movie, it shows. We like that.
Yes.
And this looks like a lot of thought went into it. So here's hoping. Don't let me down, guys. Don't let me down, Blumhouse.
Good luck.
I think that sums it up.
Yeah.
Katie, where can people go if they want to follow you?
You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on Twitch and YouTube at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. That YouTube channel is our sister channel where we react to all of the non-horror things in our lives.
A lot of fun stuff just is about to go up, so
Oh,
stay tuned.
yeah.
And I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm super excited about this. If you want to stay up to date with Silver Screams, you can follow Silver Screams at Silver_Screams on Twitter and Instagram. Like us on Facebook, all that jazz. I want to know, what is your favorite Halloween moment? Because it is a wild franchise where the canon is all over the place. But like I said, you can sort of pick and choose your favorite moment. So I want to know what your favorite Halloween moment is.
And I want to know what horror franchise you would reboot and what parts of it you would scrap for that reboot.
That's
Like,
fair.
pick a cannon point and run.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. So thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you all next time. I can't do the Halloween theme. Much better. Oh no! Did they get Hans Zimmer to rewrite?
Maybe?
Oh. Hello, Michael.